Savannah boss stole my clients. Revenge stories begin. If this story stirred something in your heart, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to Revenge with Luke, where every story reminds us that pain can lead to power. My boss fired me after I built his empire. His desperate text came too late. That was when I knew I'd burn his world down. I'm Daniel Whitaker, 47 sales director at Horizon Pulse, a fitness apparel firm in Savannah, Georgia. 12 years in, I'd turned their coastal division from a $300,000 flop into a $6 million powerhouse, closing $4. $2 million in contracts yearly. Not a mogul, but solid $220,000 a year. A riverfront condo, a Dodge Ram, and a life I'd clawed back since my divorce 6 years ago. No kids, just me and my clients, bound by trust. Horizon was my kingdom. I trained reps, flew to dawn shipments, and sealed deals over whiskey. My CEO, Frank Corbin, 63, called me the anchor. I thought my division was ironclad. Then Alan Wicks, 49, the new CEO, slithered in and tore it apart. It started sharp. Alan, a polished shark from Miami, landed after a buyout by Apex Ventures. He preached velocity and disruptive scale, his grin dripping with ambition. In sales meetings, he mocked my client dinners as old school. I'd built 80% of our revenue on loyalty, not apps. But Alan demanded digital pipelines. New hires cut commissions. I caught him scanning my client files. Then the betrayal began. The first blow was a $1.5 million contract with Coastal Fitness, a client I'd nurtured for a decade. Alan reassigned it to a rookie claiming new blood. The deal collapsed. I confronted him expecting a fight. He smirked, eyes cold. Big picture, Whitaker. Don't cling to relics. I pushed. Relics. That's my client. His voice dropped. Stick to your lane. Betrayal's a slow poison. By spring, Alan's restructure struck. He called me in suit, crisp, smirk sharp. Daniel, you're out! We need lean leadership. 12 years erased in 10 minutes. You're a handshake in a cloud world, he sneered. I got a severance offer, 3 months' pay tied to an NDA. Sign and I'd be silenced. I took the papers, walked out, his chuckle burning my ears. My team reps I'd mentored stared silent. I kept my stride firm, but inside I was shattering. Home was no sanctuary. My office, lined with old deal memos, felt like a coffin. I poured a bourbon, stared at the NDA. Sign and I'd betray my clients. Refuse and they'd destroy me. I called my cousin, Matt Langley, 51, a corporate lawyer who'd seen boardroom bloodbaths. We met at a Savannah speakeasy, jazz humming. Daniel, you sure? Matt asked, sipping rye. Alan's stealing my clients. I need proof. He scribbled a name. Vera Quinn. P.I. She's a blade. Costs, but she cuts deep. I pocketed it, fire rising. Vera was a storm, late 40s, with a predator's gaze. We met in her loft, city lights glinting. What's your endgame, Whitaker? She asked. Truth. Alan's plot, his goal. She nodded. 10 days. Act normal. Don't sign that NDA. Normal. Like I could with my legacy in flames. I played the role. Cleared my desk at Horizon. Nodded when Alan bragged about growth. But every smile was a blade. Vera moved fast. Her first report landed texts between Alan and an Apex exec, Roland Tate, 60, planning to siphon my clients to a rival Peak Pulse. My client list, my life's work, emailed to Peak Pulse. The gut punch. Alan wasn't just firing me. He was sabotaging my division, using my trust to lure clients away. My deals, my honor stolen. I sat in my Ram, Savannah's river, dark beyond the windshield, reading Vera's file. This was a revenge story, but bigger, a corporate heist. I could have signed the NDA, taken the money. But I'm tougher than that. I called Matt. Get me to Apex's board, I said. I'm exposing this. Matt paused. This is war, Daniel. Ready. I gripped the phone. They broke me. I'm breaking them. The board meeting was days away. I didn't tell Alan I'd be there. He thought I was crushed silent. I stood outside Horizon's glass tower, watching Alan pitch my clients to execs I'd trusted. My chest burned for the man I'd been. Then Vera called. Got more, she said. Audio. Alan and Roland at a client dinner. They're planning to tank Horizon stock after the poach. I listened in my condo, wait, silent. Alan's voice smug. Whitaker's clients are ours. He's gone, we're untouchable. My blood roared. I sent it to Matt. This goes to the board, I said. And my clients, the first twist hit like lightning. Vera traced a $700,000 consulting fee to a shell company linked to Roland Tate. Alan had promised him a cut of Peak Pulse's profits if my clients defected. They weren't just stealing, they were rigging the buyout to crash Horizon. I met Vera at a riverside bar, dawn breaking. What's next? I asked. She sipped her coffee, eyes sharp. Confront Alan, now it's messy. Or rewrite their game better. I leaned back, mind racing. Alan thought I'd stay quiet. Roland thought he owned Apex. They were wrong. Let's bury them, I said, voice like steel. Matt filed a whistleblower report with Apex's board attaching Vera's evidence. I hired a sales strategist, Elise Harper, 43, to dig into Horizon's contracts. $3 million in deals, my deals rerouted to Peak Pulse over 8 months. My life's work bled dry. Elise's report was a dagger. "You've got them," she said, handing it over. "They're finished." But they weren't. Alan called, voice oily. "Daniel signed the NDA. We can make this easy." I let him talk, recording. "Easy. You stole my clients." He laughed, nervous. "Big picture, man." I hung up, sent the audio to Vera. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A man's voice, rough. "Back off, Whitaker. You're out of your depth." Click. My pulse raced. Roland. Had to be. I locked the condo, checked the cameras. Nothing. But the threat lingered. This wasn't just about clients anymore. Alan, Roland, and whoever was pulling strings, they were hunting me, and I was ready to strike. That man's voice, rough, threatening, burned in my skull. "You're out of your depth," he'd growled. Sleep was a stranger. My Savannah condo, once my haven, felt like a cage. Every shadow, every hum of the river set my nerves ablaze. But I wasn't breaking. I'm Daniel Whitaker, and I'd forged Horizon Pulse's coastal division into a $6 million empire. No way was I letting Alan Wicks, Roland Tate, or their scam erase me. Dawn broke humid and heavy. I called Vera, my PI voice like iron. "Got a threat. Male, probably Roland. Track his circle." Vera didn't flinch. "They're rattled, Daniel." "We're close. I'll trace his contacts." Next, I rang Elise, the sales strategist. "What's new on the contracts?" I asked. She was all business. "They're sloppy. Another $1 million rerouted to Peak Pulse yesterday. Offshore Bermuda. I'm hunting the trust." My jaw tightened. Offshore. This wasn't just client theft, it was a corporate slaughter. I drove to Horizon's headquarters, its glass walls a mockery of my exile. The lot buzzed with my old team reps. I'd trained their nods heavy with respect. But I wasn't there to mourn. I needed to think. Alan, Roland, they weren't just poaching my clients. They were dismantling my division, the trust I'd built over 12 years. Years of late-night pitches, client handshakes, and a bad back gone. I wasn't letting that stand. Midday, Matt called. "Apex's board is spooked," he said. "Your reports got them in a panic. They want you in tomorrow. You ready?" I gripped the phone. "Ready? I'm bringing hell." But Matt's tone shifted. "Daniel, heads up. Roland's got a board ally, Evelyn Marsh, 57. She's been quiet, but she's tied to him." My stomach twisted. Evelyn, the board member who'd praised my deals at the 22 gala. Too cozy with Roland at client dinners. "Got it," I said low. "She's in my crosshairs." That afternoon, Vera sent a new file. Texts showing $2 million more funneled to Peak Pulse with Evelyn's name on a transfer memo. My blood boiled. Alan was the front man, Roland the mastermind, but Evelyn was the insider paving the way. If they were this deep, the fraud was bigger than a revenge story. But why my clients? My deals were loyal, not a fortune. What was Roland's endgame? No time to guess. My phone buzzed. Text unknown number. "Check your doorstep." My pulse spiked. I strode to the door, heart hammering. A plain envelope, no marking. Inside a USB drive and a note. "They're not untouchable. Use it." No signature. I should have called Vera, but I was too wired. In my office, I plugged in the drive. A video loaded. Grainy footage of Alan and Roland in a Savannah yacht club arguing. Alan jabbed a finger. "You said Whitaker was out." Roland's voice was ice. "He is." "Evelyn's got the board. We're clear." The video cut out. My hands shook. Evelyn. They weren't just stealing, they were rigging Horizon's collapse. But who sent the USB? Friend. Foe. I forwarded it to Vera. "Find out who's tailing Roland," I said. "Someone's playing both sides." She didn't mince words. "On it." "But Daniel, Roland's old money. His network's dirty." This could get rough. Rough was my language. I'd closed a $3 million deal and 20 saved Horizon from a supply chain crash. But this was blood. I met Matt at his office, showed him the video. His face darkened. "Evelyn's a ghost. If she's in, the board's compromised." I leaned forward. Then we hit harder. "File with Apex. Take them all." Matt hesitated. "Big swing, Daniel." "Sure." I met his eyes. "They stole my life. I'm done playing nice." That night I couldn't stay home. The river's hum mocked me. I drove to a bar, ordered a scotch. The burn steadied me. Then I saw her, not a shadow but Elise, the strategist. She was at a booth sipping bourbon. "Rough night?" I asked, sliding in. She smirked. "You're one to talk." We swapped stories, her corporate betrayal, my early days sealing deals. For a moment I forgot the war. But as I left, she grabbed my arm. "Daniel, be careful. That offshore trust. It's Roland's. Alan's just the face." The face. The words hit like a freight train. Alan was a pawn, Roland the king. But why my clients? The answer came at dawn. Vera called, voice urgent. "Found the USB source. Ex-employee of Roland's fired last month. Name's Rachel Vance, 41. She's got dirt, bribery, market manipulation. Wants to meet." I didn't blink. "Set it up." Rachel was a wreck chain smoking in a coffee shop. Roland wants Horizon's market, she said, eyes darting. Your clients were the key to Peak Pulse's takeover. Alan's job was to break you. My fists clenched. And Evelyn. Rachel snorted. Evelyn's trapped. Roland's got leverage, old secrets, shady loans. She called me panicked. I leaned in. Panicked. Why? Rachel's eyes locked on mine. Roland's got proof from her past. Before Horizon. The air vanished. Evelyn wasn't just a traitor, she was caged. Part of me wanted to expose her, let her burn. But the part that had fought for Horizon knew better. I slipped Rachel $700. Stay safe, I said. She nodded, gone. The Apex meeting was hours away. I walked in, Matt at my side, Rachel's words burning. Alan was there, smirking with Evelyn at the board table. The chair, Doctor. Laura Baxter, 59, skimmed my report, jaw tight. This is serious, she said. I laughed cold. Serious. They stole my clients. I tossed Rachel's affidavit on the table detailing Roland's scheme. Alan's smirk vanished. Evelyn paled. Daniel, I didn't save it, I snapped. You sold us out. I pointed at Alan, who shifted, eyes narrow. Then the first twist. Baxter's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, froze. We need to pause, she said, voice shaky. Apex got a tip. CC's rating Peak Pulse. Fraud insider trading. Evelyn gasped. Alan shot up. This is nonsense, Sid, I said, voice like ice. You're done. The room stilled. Baxter adjourned, promising to regroup. Evelyn grabbed my arm as I left. Daniel, I was forced. Roland, I shook her off. You chose him. Outside, Matt clapped my shoulder. You shook the board. But Roland's not out. I nodded, scanning the street. A gray SUV idled, tinted windows. Trouble. I called Vera. Check Roland's movements. He's not quitting. She didn't sugarcoat it. He's not. Got a hit on his phone. He's meeting Alan tonight. Warehouse district. You in? I gripped the phone. Hell yes. That night I parked a block from the warehouse, Vera's directions locked in. Rain pounded the asphalt, streetlights dim. Alan's car was there next to a Bentley. Roland's voices echoed inside. I crept closer, phone recording. Alan was yelling. You said Whitaker was silenced. Now the SEC's coming. Roland's voice was smooth, lethal. Relax. Evelyn's the fall guy. She'll take the hit. My blood boiled. They were framing her. After everything, she was their scapegoat. Then the second twist. A flashlight beam hit me. Who's there? A third voice, not Alan's or Roland's. I froze. Footsteps. I bolted, ducking behind crates. The beam swept past. My phone buzzed. Vera. Get out. Roland's got security. Too late. A hand grabbed my shoulder, spun me. A guy 6'3", built like a tank. Wrong move, he growled. I swung, caught his chin. He staggered. Pain exploded in my ribs as he hit back. I hit the ground, vision blurring. Headlights. A car screeched up. Vera. She leapt out, taser in hand. Back off, she shouted. The guy hesitated, ran. Vera hauled me up. You're an idiot, she muttered, shoving me into her car. We peeled out, rain swirling. What did you hear? She asked. I coughed, ribs screaming. They're framing Evelyn. Roland's the puppet master. Vera's jaw tightened. Then we take him down. Back home, I iced my ribs, mind racing. Alan, Roland, Evelyn, a snake pit. But Rachel's tip, Vera's hustle, Elise's evidence, it was stacking up. I wasn't just fighting for my clients anymore. This was about honor. Elise called. Big news. That offshore trust. Tied to Roland's family. Tax evasion laundering. I sent it to the SEC. I grinned, pain be damned. You're a rock star. She laughed. Just doing my job. But Daniel. Evelyn's been calling me. She's terrified. Alan's unhinged. I didn't answer. Evelyn's fear didn't sway me. She'd made her choice. Then the third twist. My condo's security pinged. Footage from last night, someone tampering with my laptop in the garage. I zoomed in. Not Alan. Evelyn. She wasn't just a pawn, she was covering her tracks. I called Matt, Vera, Elise. We end this. No. The plan was tight. Bait Alan, catch Evelyn in the act, tie them to Roland. But as I hung up, my phone buzzed. Evelyn. A voicemail. Daniel, I'm at the office. Alan's here. He's losing it. Help. Her voice cracked raw with panic. I stared at the phone. Horizon's office. My old battlefield where I'd closed 1,000 deals. Now a trap. Or was it? Evelyn had betrayed me. But that panic, it was real. I grabbed my keys. This wasn't about saving her. This was about ending it. But the game shifted again. Vera called as I drove. Daniel knew intel. Rachel got more. Roland's been skimming Horizon's revenue for years. Not just your clients. He's got another mole board member, Neil Carver, 55. He's feeding him data. My mind reeled. Neil, the board member who'd backed my raises. Another traitor. What's the play? I asked. Vera's voice was grim. Expose them at the meeting. But watch your back. Roland's desperate. I parked a mile from Horizon, mind spinning. Neil's betrayal widened the net. This wasn't just about my clients, it was about Horizon's survival. I met Matt at a gas station, rain falling. "Neil's dirty," I said, handing him Vera's file. Matt's eyes narrowed. "This changes everything. We hit the board with this, it's over." I nodded. "But we need Alan first. He's the weak link." That evening I set the bait. I texted Alan from a burner phone posing as a client. "Heard you're taking Whitaker's accounts? Meet me at the office 10 p.m. Let's talk numbers," he bit, replying instantly. "I'm there." I called Vera. "He's coming. Be ready." She was already positioned, hidden in the lot with a camera. At 10 p.m., I watched from a shadowed corner as Alan arrived, pacing in his office. No Evelyn. Her voicemail was a lie or a setup. My stomach dropped. Then headlights. A black SUV. Roland stepped out with Neil Carver, not Evelyn. My blood ran cold. This wasn't a meeting, it was a cleanup. I texted Vera. "They're here. Call the cops. Now." The office was a dark gauntlet, Roland's and Neil's voices cutting like razors from Alan's office. My heart slammed against my ribs. Evelyn's voicemail. Alan's losing it. Help ringing like a siren. Was she baiting me or breaking loose? "I'm Daniel Whitaker, and I'd forged Horizon Pulse's coastal division into a $6 million empire. No way was I letting Alan Wicks, Roland Tate, or Neil Carver gut it in a Savannah night." Vera's text said cops were 5 minutes out. I had to hold the line. Footsteps pounded closer. Alan's voice sharp with panic. "Someone's here." I gripped Evelyn's wrist, her trembling breath hot against my neck. I signaled silence, easing the closet door open a crack. Alan was tearing through files, cursing. Roland's tone sliced from the office, cold as ice. "Find them, Wicks. We're wiping everything tonight." Neil's voice shaky. "What if the SCC's got it?" Roland laughed, venomous. "They don't." "Whitaker's evidence is smoke. Evelyn's the weak link." My blood surged. They were framing her, stealing my clients, torching Horizon. But Evelyn's flash drive, if it was real, could flip the game. I whispered to Evelyn, "That recording." "Legit." She nodded, eyes wide, pressing the drive into my hand. "It's all there." Roland's bribes, Alan's lies. My gut twisted. Trusting her was a gamble, but I was out of plays. I pocketed it, mind racing. 5 minutes was eternity. I needed to stall. Alan's shadow passed the closet. I hissed to Evelyn, "Stay here. Scream if they grab you." She clutched my arm, desperate. "Daniel, don't." I shook her off. "I'm ending this." I slipped out, hugging Shadow's, heart pounding. The office was a maze of cubicles, screens, dark. Roland and Neil were at Alan's desk, shredding papers. I ducked behind a partition phone recording. Roland's voice was a blade. "Wipe the servers. Whitaker's clients are peak pulses by dawn." Neil hesitated. "If we're caught, we won't be." Roland snapped. "Wicks handles the fallout." My jaw clenched. They thought I was done. They were dead wrong. The first twist hit like a thunderbolt. A crash echoed, Evelyn stumbling from the closet, knocking over a printer. Alan spun, eyes wild. "There." He lunged at her. I didn't think. I charged, tackling him. We slammed into a desk, monitors crashing. Alan roared, swinging a fist. Pain exploded in my cheek, but I pinned his arm, knee on his chest. "Stay down," I shouted. Evelyn screamed, scrambling back. Roland cursed, grabbing a laptop. Neil froze, eyes darting to the exit. Headlights flared outside, red and blue slicing through the rain. Vera had delivered. Alan thrashed, but I held him, ribs screaming from the warehouse fight. Roland bolted for the fire exit, laptop clutched. I yelled, "He's running." Neil hesitated, then fled after him. Evelyn stood trembling, gripping a chair. "Daniel, I'm sorry, not now," I snapped, hauling Alan up. Sirens wailed, closing in. Cops burst in, shouting, "Hands up." I let Alan go, hands raised. "Daniel Whitaker," I said, voice steady. "They're your targets." The cops cuffed Alan, his smirk erased. Roland and Neil didn't make it far. Vera's tip had squad cars at the exits. I handed the flash drive to the lead officer, a grizzled guy named Holt. "This has it all. Bribes, fraud, client theft." Holt nodded, bagging it. Evelyn stood by the door, pale, silent. I didn't look at her. My statement was sharp: Alan's poaching Roland's empire, Evelyn's betrayal. The cops hauled them out, rain swirling in their wake. Days later, the fallout hit. Roland's arrest dominated Savannah news: fraud, bribery, market manipulation. Alan flipped spilling details for a plea deal. Evelyn faced charges, her board seat gone. The SEC froze Peak Pulse's deals, halting Apex's buyout. My clients were secured $3 million in contracts traced. Elise's evidence and Evelyn's recordings sealed it. But the second twist came from Rachel, the whistleblower. She met me at a dive bar, sliding over a flash drive. Roland's private emails, she said. He blackmailed Evelyn with her past tax evasion old debts. I got them off his server. "Your call." I stared at the drive. Part of me wanted to destroy it, let her secrets die. But the part that had fought for Horizon kept it locked in a safe. Not for revenge, but protection. Evelyn was out of my life, but I wasn't taking risks. Weeks passed. I didn't return to Horizon. Instead, I got a call from Tidewave Gear, a rising fitness brand in Wilmington. Their CEO, Tom Randall 56, wanted me to head their sales team. I walked into their boardroom, my record on display. Tom didn't blink. Name your terms. I did. $290, 0.005% equity, and a public statement calling me the client king. He shook my hand. Done. Horizon's board begged me to return, offering a VP role. I met them in their tower, their faces desperate. Daniel, we need you, Dr. Baxter pleaded. I smiled, tore their offer in half. You had your shot, I said, walking out. The glass doors swung shut, final. Evelyn sent a letter a month later, scrawled on thin paper. I was trapped, she wrote. I'm sorry. I read it once, tossed it in the trash. Sorry didn't restore trust. Sorry didn't erase Alan's lies or Roland's schemes. I'd rebuilt my life stronger. That was enough. Tidewave launched my division, contracts pouring in. I bought a new place sleek overlooking Wilmington's coast. Elise and I grabbed coffee, sometimes her sharp wit a quiet spark. Not love, not yet, but something. But the third twist came late when Vera called. Daniel, one more thing. Evelyn's recording. She made it before you were fired. She was trying to stop Roland from the start. My chest tightened. Had I misjudged her? Or was it another lie? I didn't know, and I didn't chase it. Some truths stay buried. Then the final shift. My old Horizon clients, loyal to me, not the company, started calling. They wanted to follow me to Tidewave. I didn't poach them. I didn't have to. They came because they trusted me. I set up a community fund with my first Tidewave bonus, helping small clients hit by Horizon's collapse. It wasn't about tearing down Alan or Roland. It was about lifting up those who'd stood by me. Late at night, staring at Wilmington's waves, I'd see that flash drive in my mind, feel the weight of what I'd become. Was I a hero, a survivor, or just a man who chose to rise? I don't know. Maybe you do. Did I do right burning Evelyn's letter without a reply? Or should I have heard her out one last time? What's justice when trust is ash? Can honor rebuild what greed destroys, or does it only scar us? You're here because this story meant something. Don't scroll away without leaving a thought in your subscription. Revenge with Luke is where real stories find their voice, and yours.